Welcome, Sara McMann, back to the program. First, did you watch anything of the goings on in Paris with USA Wrestling? Did you have time?
Uh, no, I didn't. So I've been pretty swamped with moving, getting everything adjusted, getting my daughter set up for school, finding a gymnastics place for her, and like my training camp. So like, I mean, I'm really sad that I didn't. I saw some stuff people like posted things on Facebook, so I was able to catch like finals matches and things like that. But I saw mostly through pictures. But I'm like, I can always go back and watch those matches when they're uploaded to YouTube. But I kind of have to take care of my stuff first.
So I got to ask you, why the move? I mean, you literally moved all the way across the country, and why? I mean, you could have went to any camp in between. Like, there's literally every camp would have been happy to have you, but you went all the way to Sacramento for Alpha Male.
So I had a falling out with not my coaches, but the other owners of the gym, and we just couldn't see eye to eye on how things were being distributed, and I didn't feel it was right. So kind of just had to like stick by what I thought was right. It just made me not as welcome in the gym. So I was like, there are plenty of places that would love to have me, and I mean, there are even gyms that would like pay to have a top level UFC fighter there because it'll draw in as far as clients. But so I was like, I just have to have a great training environment and not an okay one and not a bad one, especially if I'm going to train for the best girls in the world. Um, and so I kind of just made a list of every gym that I knew that had great coaches and great partners that were close to my weight. Because I'd been to really good gyms, like AKA is a great gym, but the majority of them are way bigger than me all the time. And so like um, guys who are high level but have to constantly be holding themselves back to not injure you, it's not the same feel as somebody who's coming after you 100%. That's your weight, and that's what's going to happen in a fight. So like training close to your weight class, and like obviously you pull punches, obviously like you're not ripping submissions, but when you're really competitive and going after each other, it's a different feel. And so I had some great places that were, there's a lot of really good gyms, but I went and visited different spots, and Sacramento was the best place for my daughter as far as education. And I knew their stats, like they have world champions, they have, like in every different organization, predominantly guys who are, under 155, but there are some bigger guys that are coming in, but it's still people who are manageable weight. Um, and also people who are highly skilled. So these guys can, push me, but not injure me. And then so like the last thing was that I went and visited these places because like the team environment and atmosphere is extremely important to me. Like I just can't train in a place where people are trying to injure each other, where it's, the coaches just really, are more about money and not, helping people. It has to resonate with me. And then, so coming out here and visited, I mean, I knew from the first day, it feels like a wrestling environment. You know what that is, but if other people don't know, it's highly competitive, like everyone's trying to get that edge, get that position or whatever, but nobody wants to knock each other out of practice. Nobody wants to prevent each other from competing. We're all truly on the same team to help each other, but we're still trying to get each other, like, got you. I got that takedown. It makes the person a little bit salty, but they're like, I'm gonna get you, come sparring day, you're gonna be singing a different tune. Like, but it's a healthy environment. And so like when I got here, I knew I was like, this place is wonderful. This is the place for me.
So how hard was it? Well, first I got to ask, isn't cost of living so much more expensive?
So it is, and luckily, like I'm doing better in my career, so I'm making more money. But I'm kind of a minimalist, so I really can live anywhere because I buy what I need. I don't buy excess things. I don't, do anything really extravagant. I'm the kind of girl that if I want to go do something really awesome, I live around, like 5 different national parks. I'm gonna drive and go hike and gorgeous scenery and be around good down to earth people, and that's what I really love. So this place was super appealing for that too.
The weather's okay. I mean, at least you're still getting seasons up there. I mean, I don't like the cold, so for me, it's only okay. Some people really enjoy the cold. I just don't.
So I like some seasons. You know, I don't want bitter cold. Like Pennsylvania, it was in Iowa, they were pretty rough. I mean, but I put like 8 layers on. But
And that's just to go to the gym. Like you have to get bundled up just to get to the gym, and then you have to, it's just ridiculous. But some people love it. Some people just absolutely love it. I just don't. This is not my thing. I love Sacramento. Now, I will say this: I was extremely surprised at how many amazing amateurs Team Alpha Male has. So I just refed this huge event, Epic Fighting Championships down in San Diego, and it was Northern California versus Southern California, and Alpha Male killed it. They absolutely crushed it. They came out. There were 7 guys. I think 5 guys had TKO victories or submission victories. The other 2, one lost a decision and one got caught and ended up losing by TKO. But it was like a weird kind of situation. Those guys are amazing. Like they're really good. I talked to Danny Castillo after. I was like, I'm completely surprised at how many great amateurs you have. How come I don't know about this? He goes, oh, we've been doing this for 10 years. It's just what we do. I'm like, how does nobody know about this? He goes, I don't know. He goes, I don't know why nobody knows how good they Sarah, legitimately, 2 of those guys, I refed one of them. 2 of those guys is going to be a champ in either UFC or Bellator within the next 3 years, and they're amateurs right now. Like, this is how good those guys are. Never heard them before ever in my life. And I'm in the sport. I'm in the game. How did you find out about Alpha Males? Just because it was Uriah and wrestling and that's what brought you over there? Or was there something else you kept hearing about it from some other aspect?
So like I looked at basically how I heard a Team Alpha Male was what came into my mind was I went and did what is it, the Metro PCS thing for the UFC, and I just saw Cody Garbrandt, like and that with him and Sage, and like I'd known I didn't know him, but I knew Cody because he had wrestled at Newberry in South Carolina, and I was around Limestone, so I had been around him as a college athlete. And then again, when he was at Strong Style, I came and trained with Jessica I when she was at 125, and so I'd been around him a couple times. So either way, like when you're around somebody, you get that like wrestlers are like family, like you don't have to know each other very long. You're like, oh, you're a wrestler, we're family pretty much, so like really well. And I just thought, wow, if that's like the way that he, I asked him, as I knew I was going to leave the gym, I just sent him a message and I was like, hey, like, what's the environment like there? Because I know that there had been like the different beef with TJ and then I know Paige had left also. I didn't know the details on it. So I'm like, if major things are going down in a gym, I don't want to come into the middle of a war zone. I don't want work because sometimes you have coaches who are like too many chiefs of one tribe, or you have like, it's just kind of some cancers on the team that are bringing people down. And he's like, no, he's like, to be completely honest, my team is like awesome. He's like, just come out here and visit and you'll see, like, and even when I came out and visited, I was like, he's completely right. Like it is a really, really great place to train. And we do have like some of these guys, I am shocked when I find out that they're amateurs because of basically the control and skill level and the length of their series, like the series they have in grappling, the series that they have on their feet, like and how finely tuned they are, and yeah, it's pretty surprising. They push our pros, and that's awesome. Like when you have a room like that, like, but and all the amateurs are really respectful too, like they know they're still coming up. They know that they really have to learn, and that's the great thing, like in a wrestling environment is you get humbled all the time, like nobody in here is like, oh, I'm big dog or whatever. Nobody acts like that. They're like all trying to learn from each other, all trying to get the better of each other. It's a really great place. I couldn't be happier with deciding to move.
How long did you visit when you came out?
3 days.
Okay.
I moved across the country on 3 days. But I've been in thousands of wrestling rooms and MMA rooms in my life, and I don't even need 3 days to get a sense of the environment. Like I've gone to places where I know when I came in the practice room, I immediately was like, these people are trying to hurt each other. Like they don't care. They just want to win in the practice room so bad and prove themselves. They don't care if they're actually injuring people. It's going to put people out of competition. Like I'm all for winning, but like here it's kind of a motto of like, if you could touch somebody, you could have laid into them. Like we all know it. If someone's making more connection, someone's making you miss more, you know who the better striker is, and you don't start hitting them harder, you get better. Like you realize someone's got you. You need to improve. And so like it's such a good environment.
And that's something that a lot of wrestlers have just as a whole, because but most of it's not going to hurt that much. We're not going to, we're going to throw a front head choke on you, a front headlock on you, and throw it to your back. It's not going to hurt, but I get the points, and that transferred into MMA, where we're like, we don't want to hurt you. We just want to prove that we're better at this moment in time. At this portion of the round right now, I'm better than you. It doesn't have, the rest of the team doesn't need to know it. The coaches don't need to know it. If no one saw it, no one saw it. Let's just keep going. We just keep, put you on your back, I pin you. Oh, we got up, we're back on our feet. We just keep the motion. And that kind of mentality kind of crossed over. And then I learned a lot about that going to boxing camps. Boxers are very particular about the guys they spar with, because they don't want you don't want some guy coming to your camp and smashing you up. But boxers tend to pay every single one of their training partners when they spar. Every guy gets paid a little bit per round, and that's just how they do it. MMA is a little bit different. We have to have a team atmosphere and a team aspect to kind of get your stuff together. But I've heard weirder things about alpha male. Like guys that moved there after one training session, not 3 days. Like after one is like, this is 100%, this is for me, I'm moving. You're like, come on, man, you have no idea. Nope. And flourishing, and absolutely flourishing over there. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm really pumping up alpha male, because I really don't care about the team as a whole. But from a wrestler's mind standpoint, and from a wrestler's mindset in MMA, it is the best spot right now for people that have that same kind of mindset. And just using Gerbrand as your example, that's the guy you got to use as your example. Like, he comes from no place and has the confidence and the understanding and the tutelage to come through and beat a guy like Dominic Cruz the way that he beat him is pretty incredible. I mean, it's pretty nuts. But I still worry, though, Sarah. It's your first training camp with a new team going into a fight that, for me, is kind of a lose-lose situation for you. You're 6, she's 13. You beat her, so what? She beats you. It could be very hurtful for your career. As far as like right now getting towards a title fight, and you're with a new coaching staff, a new camp, new training partners.
Yeah, so I took all that into consideration before I moved, and to be honest, the first week I was like, holy shit, what did you do? Like,
Yeah. But be honest, wasn't that oh shit, what did you do, more about your daughter than it was actually about yourself? Weren't you more worried about schooling and housing and making sure that she's in the right place and a safe environment and can grow? And wasn't that more the worry?
No, she definitely is way more the concern and her adjustment. She's, my sweetheart. So like making sure she's okay and she's set. And she actually super adaptable. So she's great. She loves California. She found this great gymnastics gym. Even her first day of school, she knew another little girl from the gym. So she's set. I mean, she's so adaptable.
A lot like her mom.
Yeah. So that's the great thing about transferring here is I knew from the first practice, a lot of the things that they do were very much in line with my style, so like it's not actually a huge shift. It's really more refining, which at this point in my career, I'm refining. So they're not going to throw some crazy wrestling stuff that I've never been exposed to. They're going to say, oh, you can get into that single leg these 3 ways, but have you thought of these other 3 ways considering how you fight, and I'm like, oh man, so I'm excited to learn these different things. But they've done pretty good at like not trying to, reinvent the wheel, because they know that I came in a month before my fight. But also like at first I was like nervous, and then I thought about it, and I'm like, man, before every single world championships for 2 or 3 weeks, we go to another country and we train before that event occurs. So I'm actually quite accustomed to, before a big event, getting out of my element, being in a foreign country and not knowing what foods I'm going to have, and like just training with specific people before a big event. So I'm actually more accustomed to that than I am to staying in my same spot. I've done that far more frequently. So once I reframed it like that, like I'm coming out here and it is a different environment, but hands down, it's a better environment. So like the first week, I kind of, I had to figure out who is the safer people to go with, like I had to kind of, and I was nervous because I didn't want to get injured. But then I after 1 week, I completely relaxed. I trust everybody. And, I've had a great camp. My body feels great. I've made minor adjustments. I'm still the same fighter, but I haven't tried to like do some drastically different stuff. It's more about refining what I already do well, and And so in this fight too, okay, here's the deal. I don't care if she was ranked, her rank is right beside me. I don't care if she's ranked above me. You know, in fighting, you're only as good as your last fight. But what it does set up is a 4-fight win streak. You know, so like I can't control who they offer me to fight. My only job is to get in there and beat their tail. That's it. You know, it doesn't matter if she's, you know, 15-0, it doesn't matter if she's 1-1, it doesn't matter, none of that matters, you know. And I don't feel any more pressure than I do in every single fight, because every single fight it's like, this could be the one who that projects me, or this could be the one that, you know, sets me back or doesn't get me anywhere. Like you can't predict how it's going to be. Like all I look at, because I'm a seasoned athlete, is which things can I control? And it is, I can control how prepared I am. I can control what things that I do, how my body feels, you know, like that. I can't control what she does. I can't control who she trains with. I can't control what she's ranked, you know, and I can't control the outcome. I have to go and focus on the process and then put the best fighter out there that I possibly can be. And this fighter is a better fighter than I've ever been. I mean, since I first came here, I've been training with like different drilling sessions with Cody Garbrandt. Uriah works with me specifically all the time. Cynthia Calvia, you know, up and coming 15, and she's, you know, she's competitive and she's tough, you know, and like there's another girl that is in Bellator she walks around the same weight as me. She's the same height and length as my opponent, you know, and we push each other. So like that stuff, I feel more prepared. Like I feel more prepared going into this and more relaxed about the training that I put in than I have like second guessing, like, oh, you know, I trained with these guys, but I didn't have very many girl partners, or, you know, like things like that. I have great girl partners. I have top in the world guy partners, you know, like there's no way that I'm not putting the best Sara McMann out there that has ever
I
been.
remember our interview 2 years ago and me asking you, how do you find partners? Like I remember having this conversation, like, and you trying to be nice because you're in an interview and you're trying to be upbeat about it, but I could tell like I'm getting guys that are way too big and do not match the style of my opponent. And now it sounds like you've got a female right next to you that's the exact same height and length as your opponent. That's perfect. And that is a difficult task, and people don't understand when you go to these teams that just because, like, I would not fit in alpha male. I'm too big. I'm too big. Like, I wouldn't fit in over there. It's just not that it's not a great place. It's just not for me. I would have to go to a different camp. But the thing is, it also makes you think, well, could I make 55? If I get down to 55, I'd be small enough to go there. It does make you rethink kind of how you want to compete, because you're like, oh, I do want to go to a great place. I do want to be in a great gym. How do I do it? You know, and it's always great to hear when you hear great things about a camp, and then you see somebody you know move into that camp and hear them say the same great things. So it's not just a PR push; it's actual reality, and that's huge. I love that.
I'm not moving across the country to promote their gym.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm moving. I know it's the right place for me.
Sarah, I'm sorry. As always, I kept you double the time I always promised you were going to do. I can't stop talking with you. It's been awesome.
That's okay.
I'm so happy you found a great place. I'm so happy things got worked out from Carolina and got you moved out. Like things are better. Great. It's great that your daughter found friends right away and she's in a great spot. Like, I mean, for me, you've hit the mystical unicorn. You find a gym. You're at the end. I'm almost at the end of your career. I apologize. You're later in your career where you know what you need and you found it, and that's tough to do.
That is reality. The reality is I'm 36, and that I know that pressure of how, you know, the very limited time I have left, like athletically, because your body's just going to break down, and that's okay. I'm not worried about that. I'm not nervous about that. I know I've done, you know, 22 years of work to get to this point. So 22 years of investing and training and refining my skills. That's where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, and you're doing a great job of it. I'm super excited to see how this fight comes out. I'm super excited to see the little tweaks you made. It's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. It really is. Enjoy the rest of your training camp. Have fun. And we'll definitely be talking again soon.
Okay, sounds good.